welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I am so glad you got to make it today for today's episode because I am excited. We're going to be planting garlic today, and a lot of you have been joining us in this this love of the change of seasons. So if you're someplace where it's still hot, welcome to Michigan for today's episode. It is a balmy 65 degrees. Still rocking the shirt, the short sleeve shirt, because it's actually a wonderful change. I've been able to come outside and enjoy the garden almost any day, almost any hour of the day, because it's no longer 90 degrees and 100% humidity, which is wonderful. So I'm actually kind of glad that the seasons are changing, but there is kind of a bittersweet note to that in that it's garlic planting time, and that means we've got about 30 to 40 days before our first frost. It's just the truth of the matter. So we're out here planting garlic today. We got about 35 days till our first official frost date, or our first official average frost date. It could be later, it could be sooner, but this is when you plant garlic. So I've got a bunch of different varieties here, and I wanted to take the time really quick to talk about garlic and the garlic that we're planting. So for those of you that have been following us for a while, know that we have a seed store. You probably know this, but if you don't, you should probably check it out. It's MIgardener.com. We have over 450 varieties of heirloom and organic non-GMO vegetable seeds for only 99 cents a pack. That's right. It's incredible. But we actually added a brand new item that all of you have been asking for, and that is seed garlic. So we went out and we locally sourced some organically grown, obviously non-GMO, heirloom seed garlic. This is certified seed garlic. It is disease-free. It is nematode-free, and the best thing is the fact that it is incredible heirloom varieties. These are not varieties you're going to get in the store, and that is what I absolutely love. So I wanted today to come back here and plant some garlic, show you all how we plant it from start to finish, but then also let you guys know about the garlic. I think it's just really important to get good genetics. On our store, we have both hardneck varieties as well as some softneck varieties. A big question you're probably asking is, which ones are going to be growing well in my area? Well, the fact of the matter is that there are two different types of garlic. There are hardneck garlic and there are softneck garlic. And the difference between the two is the neck. So on a hardneck variety, they have a hard neck, and that hard neck extends down throughout the bulb and actually will take up space where normally cloves would be. In a softneck variety, you have what's called a artichoke variety. This means that cloves will stack on each other, much like a head of artichoke, and you get a lot more cloves per head. However, softneck varieties do better in warmer climates. They still do great here in Michigan, but if you're further north than Michigan, if you're in zones 4 or 3, you'll want to go with a hardneck variety. Softnecks are good for zones 5 on lower. Now, if you're in a place that's tropical or someplace that does not get winter conditions, I recommend cold stratifying your garlic. It's called vernalization, and that is the process of actually taking and vernalizing your garlic. What you want to do is you want to take it and stick it in the fridge for about 3 to 4 weeks. Just stick it in the back of the fridge, 3 to 4 weeks, keep it nice and cold. A fridge is a wonderful place because it simulates cold weather conditions. Then all you simply do is break apart the cloves like we'll show you how to do in this episode, plant them out like you would normally, and you should get average size cloves. They might not be as large, but they'll still be really large size for compared to what you're going to be getting in the store. So when it comes to bed prep, there's a few things to take into consideration before you plant your garlic. And the first question is, have you amended your soil? We've amended this with compost, Trifecta Plus, and some fresh potting mix. Well, not fresh, but potting mix to top off the beds. That's just simply done because the soil level drops over time and we don't like to waste around here, so we threw that in here. The other thing that you have to remember is, what did you grow in this bed prior? So we actually grew alliums in here prior to the garlic. It was our onion bed. Onions are in the same family as garlic. And if you're trying to properly crop rotate, this is not something that you can overlook. How we got around the crop rotation, because generally you want to move your crops around to prevent things like pests and disease from beginning to sprout up in your soil. The way we got around this was by adding a lot of fresh new compost. For a home gardener, this is very easy to do, or someone growing in containers, this is very easy for you to do. If you are growing on a large scale with acres and you don't have the ability to re-amend your soil and really revitalize and refresh the soil, this is why big farms will tend to crop rotate, or market farmers will tend to crop rotate. But because we have these beds here that had our onions in there, all we did was we added about a full wheelbarrow full. Wow, that was a tongue that was a tongue twister. We had about a full wheelbarrow full of compost that we sifted out in here. And we added about another half a wheelbarrow full of potting mix that we added in here. So that's a lot of additional soil that is clean, did not have onions growing in it, really helps to balance that soil out, add good microbial life in terms of fungus, good beneficial fungi, and beneficial bacteria. So we added a lot of that in. And then we also went back and we refertilized. It is so important, and I can't stress to you how important this is, to use a well-balanced fertilizer. Your garlic, when you plant your garlic, is not going to just instantly start growing. It's going to focus on root development first, and then it's actually going to focus on dormancy. This is why your garlic doesn't just grow super fast right off the bat, because if you plant it about 30 to 40 days before your first frost date, there's actually a chemical signal that the garlic, that all bulbs will have, which is the overwintering stage. They actually will stop growth, they'll stop root development, and they'll actually begin to concentrate energy in the bulbs themselves. They're not like regular perennials that focus energy in the root system like your fruit trees or your strawberries. They'll actually focus energy right into the bulbs themselves. Onions do the exact same thing, as well as shallots. So just keep that in mind, that you don't want to promote a bunch of root development or foliage development. You just want a healthy all-around plant, which is why we use a very well-balanced fertilizer, and we use a lot of compost, which is just a very well-balanced, nutritious soil-growing medium for the garlic to grow in. So with that out of the way, let's talk about planting garlic now. Alrighty, so I just worked our soil here, and by worked I mean gently incorporated. You don't want to overwork your soil. It's never good to overwork your soil because it just ruins the soil structure that you as a gardener work so hard to build. I simply want to incorporate that fresh compost and potting mix into the original soil so that there's not just two layers that stand out like a sore thumb. That first layer of soil has been there the entire season, meaning it's decreased a little bit, it's compacted a little bit, and that's fine to a certain extent. Compaction is not necessarily an issue if you have the right type of soil, but it does get a little harder over time. And I like to ensure that it's just a nice homogeneous mixture so the roots don't really notice any difference as they're moving throughout the soil. Then what I also did is I obviously mixed in that fertilizer, which helps to just incorporate that and get it into the soil so that it can start working right away. So that's all I did. Just very gently work your soil. No need to aggressively till it. It's not necessary in a home garden setting. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be planting out our garlic by type. It's very important to do this because it will reduce headache in the future. I see so many gardeners, they take all this garlic, they don't really care where what goes, and that's fine if you don't. If you fall into that category, that's fine. But then once things start maturing, it gets just completely chaotic. You have soft necks and hard necks all intermixed, and hard necks will produce scapes, which are edible, soft necks won't. It's just a mishmash of everything. It's a little too chaotic for my personal preference, so I like to take soft necks and plant them in one area, and hard necks and plant them in the other area. So I'm simply gonna sort them out by hard neck and soft neck varieties, and then I'm gonna plant them here. Now, another thing that I'm doing that I did not do last year is I'm going to be spacing them even closer together. This might seem absolutely insane, but every year we hone our skills, we learn more about our garden space because there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution, and the spacing that's recommended from whoever made all the spacing recommendations, does not apply to our garden. It just doesn't. We can get about 3 to 4 times closer spacing than what is recommended because our soil is so fertile. We're so confident of the nutritional value in our soil. And also our garden gets beautiful full sun, and we can also irrigate if need be. We have our cores put in place for our core gardening method, which hold on to moisture better. And so our garden is not the same as their test plot. So we're going to be spacing our garlic every 2 inches on center. That means it's going to get a total of 4 inches, but 2 inches on center. And then we're also going to be doing what's called off-center spacing, which is we're going to put a row, and you'll see what I'm talking about, but we'll put a row, and then in the center of each one of those, we'll put a garlic clove that's 2 inches. So it'll make almost a triangle in between the garlic cloves. Again, you'll see what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so we're gonna plant our garlic with the pointy tip up and the indentation facing down. We're gonna push it in the soil about 1.5 inches, 2 inches down. We're going to space our garlic out every 2 inches on center. Okay, so this is the final part here, and then I'm gonna let you guys just plant out the rest. This is the last part here that's very important, and this is what I'm talking about, off-center spacing. So you have 2 garlic cloves here, and instead of just doing another row here, which you could theoretically do another row here, right? You can kind of see what I'm talking about with all of that space being neglected in between. So you have some really good wasted space here, good quality soil and good quality space, and it's not being utilized. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back here, we're gonna put this right in the center, because this way there's 2 inches here, 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and 2 inches here. There's perfect spacing. It's just so often this center spot here gets completely neglected. And so we're just gonna come back here and pop these in the centers. And that means we're actually going to get an additional row. This is a great way of growing garlic, as well as onions, and pretty much anything else for that matter. If you're growing high intensity, really cram them in. Utilize that space to the best of your ability. I mean, you got the best quality soil. Why sell yourself short? So I do find it's easier sometimes to plant out your 2 rows and then pop it right in the center. So it's a little easier to locate the center between those rows there. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go plant up the rest of our garlic, but before it gets too late, I need to end this video so you can go out and plant your own garlic. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions about growing garlic, make sure to throw those questions in the comments box below. I'll be glad to answer them. And also remember to check out MIgardener.com, where you can check out our 5 of 6 varieties that are still in stock of our seed garlic. I hope you all will check them out and get growing some. You'll be so glad you did. The difference between store-bought and homegrown is unbelievable, not to mention it is so much cheaper. So I'll catch you all on the next episode. See you later. Bye.